Welcome to Insure for Life. I'm Stacy Gregory. This show is for people building families, building wealth, and building a future they refuse to leave unprotected. We're talking life insurance, legacy strategy, and smart planning that gives you control, confidence, and clarity. Secure your legacy. If you love it, secure it. Welcome to Insure for Life. I'm Stacy Gregory. Today we're talking leadership, legacy, financial strategy. I'm joined by Rita Stewart, a trusted voice in financial services who helps individuals, families, and small businesses make confident, informed financial decisions. Rita brings clarity, integrity, and real-world wisdom to this work. Rita, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Stacy, for having me again.
All right, Ms. Rita. So we're here today again. Okay. So we had such a great time the last time you were here, so I wanted to have you back so we can clarify some things if we left anything unclear.
Yes.
So today we're going to talk about living benefits. Truly. And what are living benefits?
Well, when you think about living benefits, or I should say life insurance in general, many people tend to think that life insurance is just about dying. You know, they see it as death insurance, right? But there is life insurance that's, 21st century, I should say, that you actually could be positioned to leverage the life insurance face amount while you are living.
Now, what is a face amount?
The face amount is, let's say if you have a life insurance policy for $500,000, $100,000, whatever the case may be.
That's the face amount.
That's the face amount. So that's how much you are insured for. Now, in terms of living benefits, there are certain triggers that would position you to be able to have access to those funds, that face amount while you're living.
Okay, so triggering meaning something would have to happen.
Yes, there is a diagnosis that would have to happen.
Okay.
And some of the key triggers, many of us know someone who has had a stroke, right? Many of us know someone who has had a heart attack, cancer. I used to do work as a hospice chaplain, and goodness gracious, the whole Alzheimer's, right, and dementia, that is another trigger for someone who could leverage their living benefits. There is also the opportunity for you to leverage it if you were to incur renal failure, right?
Okay.
If you were to incur, again, heart attack, stroke, cancer. The other thing is, not only is it a diagnosis like that, but there's a critical illness, critical injury, so a major burn. I often think about our first responders, right? Many of them are not aware of something like living benefits, and they are put in pretty dangerous positions. But we can help our first responders should something like that happen. You're thinking, I can see it on your face. What are you thinking?
Yeah, so I work a lot in the Medicare space, and a lot of my clients, most of the questions that I get, I need someone to take care of my mom. I need someone to come sit with my mom, or this is too hard. We can't care for her, and I'm still working. So if your mother had living benefits and she had a diagnosis of Alzheimer's, dementia, or if she maybe had a hip replacement and had to go to rehab and come out and she needed care, the living benefits would also come in that way too. So you would get a lump sum of money, and the money would be yours to do whatever you needed to do with it, whether it be making the home more accessible for your parent, paying you. So if you need to take time off of work, it would help make up your income. It can help you pay bills like mortgage, car payments, car insurance. So you can do anything you need to do to make your life easier while you're recovering.
This is true. You said something about, if you had a loved one who needed care, right? So one of the triggers is a chronic illness. If you can't perform 2 out of the 6 activities of daily living, right? Toileting, bathing, right? Continence, feeding, etc. There's a timeline in terms of how long you are positioned where you cannot do those things. And then there could be a payout from your living benefits policy to support you. And as Stacy has mentioned, you can use that money for whatever you like. It's not for the doctors. No. It's not for the hospitals. That money will be paid into your hands to help with the care.
So a lot of the questions also would be, health insurance pays your doctor.
Yes.
And then you're responsible for paying your medical bills, and then the living benefits can be used to pay you in the event that you need it. So living benefits can be used, let's say you were in a car accident and you weren't able to work and you needed care. That would be considered a chronic condition or a critical illness, not a critical illness, but something that would keep you out of work and you needed help with those two activities of daily living. Any accident could qualify you for the living benefit.
So the key is for that. It could be an accident, and if you are dealing with where you can't perform 2 of those 6 activities of daily living, okay, for a certain time period, then yes, it will qualify you for it. Now, I talked to a gentleman not long ago, and he does some roofing type work, things like that. And I says, unfortunately, if you fall off the ladder and break your, wrist, that's not a qualifying condition, not unless you find that, something traumatic has happened and it's an extended period of time, right? Then you would qualify for that chronic. But you make me think about something else. In terms of, again, I'm going back to the loved one example that you had. There's a gentleman, and I'm not trying to reference age particularly, but this gentleman happened to be 74, and he qualified for a living benefits life insurance policy. You know how he tells his story? He says that he's so grateful because he ended up being diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, stage 3-4. Now, we all know what that diagnosis could look like, right? And it basically is a terminal illness diagnosis. What he has said is, one, he knows now he has peace of mind for his wife, right? In terms of the care he needed, or in case something happened to him, should he pass away or when he passes away. The second thing was, this gentleman had the option to get some pretty creative care. So he elected not to do the chemo. He elected not to do the radiation because he had the funds to do experiential treatment. Incredible, right? Yes. Incredible. So it's a good thing to have.
And I think about a family member that I have. She's in her 40s. She was recently diagnosed with a cancer. And I think a lot of people that are sick go back to work because they have to work to keep the house going. But if she would have had a policy with living benefits, she could take the time off, get the lump sum of money, take the time off of work. She has children, teenagers that still need her around and still need for her to be there, and they still need to have their track activities or football, cheerleading. All those things cost money. So a lot of times, if you're not working, the paycheck stops. All the activities that need the paycheck also stop. So this allows your life to continue on while you recuperate and get better.
Well, and that story right there, or example right there with her, 40 years old, she's in the prime of her life.
Yes.
She is raising children, right? So she has multiple family dynamics that need to be taken care of should she get sick. Another example is small independent business owners.
Oh, yeah.
We are independent business owners. And so there's this gentleman, he was single. A lot of times, I don't know about you, but I hear, I'm single, why do I need life insurance? And that's because they're not familiar with living benefits.
That's all the more reason to have living benefits.
Exactly
because you're single, who's going to take care of you?
That's exactly right. If you are single, you need to have access to living benefits. So this gentleman, he's, like I said, independent entrepreneur. And he said at the time, just starting his business, he felt like he didn't have the funds to be able to secure living benefits, but he made the sacrifice. So he started out with a small policy. He said it was $40 a month, $100,000. And as his business grew, he increased his coverage. He got additional policies, right? Oh my goodness, Stacey, he ended up having a heart attack. And the widowmaker, right? Like that's the one that generally people will pass away.
I've never heard it called that.
Yep, the widowmaker. So he survived it, though. Okay. He survived it. But the beauty is he got a $500,000 plus payout. So even though he is an independent entrepreneur, he can't work right now, right? He can't work right now, so therefore there's no money coming in. And you can imagine the hospital bills, right? So while his health insurance would take care of a portion of that, he then had living benefits to be able to sustain the mortgage, like you said, to be able to sustain the car payment, to be able to not be put out of business as a result of him being the principal of his company, of his entity, not being there. So individuals, whether you're single, whether you're middle-aged, whether you're 18, or whether you're 74, there is an opportunity for you to secure living benefits.
So I have a friend, and we're the same age, and he has young adult children, and he feels like he didn't want to get life insurance because he didn't want to make them rich.
Oh, goodness.
And he said that the kids were so entitled, and they just didn't come check on him and didn't visit him and all this stuff. And I said, that's all the more reason why you need life insurance policies with these living benefits, because they're not going to take care of, if they don't take care of you now, they definitely not going to take care of you when you get sick. So this is what you need to do for yourself. You need to make sure that you have money so you can take care of yourself if that ever happens to you where you need care. Because you already said your kid's not going to do it.
They're not going to be there. You know, that's a very unfortunate mindset, right? To think that I'm not doing it because I don't want to leave anyone something. That is not where we want to be. You and I are all about the legacy, right?
Yes, and so, a lot of people feel that way.
There are many. I do hear it, and I do think that is a very sad situation, because I think that, as we shared the last time we talked, Stacey, that there is an opportunity to ensure that the work we do, the work you do, can surpass you throughout your days, right? For years and years to come, for generations to come, and not be selfish, right? Not be selfish about, I'm not doing it because I don't want to leave anyone something.
They probably feel that way because no one ever left them anything.
Yes, that's true.
So it has to start somewhere.
Yes, yeah. You be the one to change that trajectory for your family.
So I am having a webinar in reference to living benefits on February the 28th at 7 o'clock. So you can get a registration for that on all of my social media, Stacey Gregory Insurance. And you can reach me at Stacey Gregory Insurance on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook, and also my website, www.staceygregory.com. And Rita, how can you be reached?
Listen,
and any upcoming events?
You take note. Yes, be sure you take note of what she just said, because living benefits are powerful. So for me, my next workshop is actually going to be on, February the 20th. It's going to be a Money 101 virtual workshop. You can find me at LegacyFinancialWellness.com. I'm also at RitaStewart.com.
Okay.
You can find information there. And on Instagram, I'm at Money Matters NT. So just look me up there, and you can find insight to all of the workshops and more information about living benefits.
So my goal in life, my passion in life is to make sure that everyone in my community has protection, so they will have a legacy. So we will be remembered for the things that we couldn't do while we were living, but we were able to set our family up for future endeavors.
Yes.
So that's my goal, and I want everyone to be protected because it's so important.
That's exactly right. And for me, and based on what you just said, again, my business name is Legacy Financial Wellness, because I want people to be positioned and whole and well as it relates to their personal finances. When I did my former work in ministry, one of the things I used to always say, Stacey, is if we're trying to share the gospel with someone, they cannot hear us if their finances are out of whack. Right? If their finances are not aligned. So therefore, it is important that we take the time to attend workshops, right? To listen to segments like this, so that where there's an opportunity to ensure that your financial position is well, you can do that.
Yes. So this is Insure for Life. I'm Stacey Gregory.
Rita Stewart.
And thank you. Hopefully you've learned something, and you definitely need to make sure that your family is protected.